Yo, welcome into the What the Hell Are We Doing podcast. Today we're interviewing Oddball. He's a cool Twitch streamer, and go check him out. All the links for him are in the description below. And let's get started. Hello, Oddball. How are you doing?
Yo, what's up? I'm doing alright. How about you?
Pretty good. So tell the viewers where they can find you and what they can expect from you when you're live on Twitch.
They can find me on Twitch and YouTube. Usually my Twitch content as VODs usually gets edited and sent over to my YouTube. On Twitch, I play a variety of games. Usually it's just to spread good vibes. It's mostly just me coming up with random commentary and saying what's on my mind. I try to include chat as like a main focus in my streams, so usually things they say affect stream. They can just like for example, they can spin a wheel. It affects whatever they can do. It shows up on stream. You can spin it right there. They've got a bunch of different commands they can do to just absolutely destroy me. They can drown me if they wanted to. So very chat focused.
Awesome. So who do you look up to on Twitch or YouTube that inspires you and motivates you to do more content like that?
Honestly, my content in terms of what I want to do in the future, like the kind of quality content that I want is going to be similar to like Dr. Disrespect. But the person I like look up to as like a figurehead would be Ludwig, because he is always funny. He has brand new ideas constantly, and I don't even understand how he does it, honestly.
Awesome. What's your best Twitch raid you've had, and tell us a bit more like what went down in that raid?
The best Twitch raid I've had was for 80 viewers. I was playing War Thunder, and it was a guy who was playing on tanks, and unfortunately I was playing aviation. So I think about like 40 of them stuck around, but like half of them left due to just like the split in what they were watching before and what they're watching now, because it's drastic change from slow gameplay to fast gameplay with some crazy guys screaming at you.
Yeah, and you like a lot of War Thunder. Tell us your best War Thunder game and your experience throughout the whole thing.
My best War Thunder game. My best War Thunder game would probably be when I played in the 9.3 American Harrier. Just because there was one game where I had, I think it was like 5 or more enemy planes on me, and I just straight up flipped upside down tons of times, and I was spinning them in circles. I ended up getting, I think, about 3 of them before actually going down, so that was the most fun I've ever had, just because it's fun having one guy against 5 and being able to actually still perform.
Nice. And do you do any tournaments on War Thunder?
Ooh, actually, I wanted to do tournaments. Tournaments sounds super fun. Unfortunately, tournaments require a lot of people to be there who can play the game at the same time. And without like maybe 8 or more people, it doesn't really work too well. And usually have like 4 to 6 people actually in game being able to play. So I guess it comes with increased popularity always makes it so I can actually run tournaments and such.
Awesome.
More people.
Okay. What's your best moments on stream?
Best moments are usually when actually chat creates the best moments, because they usually catch me off guard and end up catching me saying some just stupid things. So they're probably the thing that I have to thank most for like all the funny moments that I have had.
Pretty cool. If you could stream with any amazing content creator over on Twitch or YouTube, who would it be and why?
Honestly, I would choose my friend UV. His name is UV Blacklight on Twitch. He's incredible. He's probably like one of my favorite content creators just in terms of like a friend and such. And he's also super entertaining constantly. So I'd probably just pick him just because I don't feel like playing with big YouTubers or big streamers necessarily gets you exposed. I feel like it's what you do with them can kind of create that exposure, but I would just chill with him just because I know that our dynamic works well, so he'd be my pick.
So going back to War Thunder, was War Thunder your first game you played or streamed over on Twitch?
No, but it was one of the first few games. The first game I streamed on Twitch would be SCP Secret Laboratory, and that game was chaotic. There's
Oh.
lots of moments of me screaming, especially at Italian men. Don't question it.
And what other kind of games do you play besides of War Thunder?
Right. I mean, I have sort of like a pool of games that I swap out between. And right now it's War Thunder, Phasmophobia, a lot of just chatting, so I can interact a lot with chat, and Rocket League, because I find Rocket League very entertaining. It's a very mechanical game, which is why I like it.
So you played Phasmophobia, but like, what's the scariest moments you had in that game?
The scariest moments I've had is when this guy named Zax would come in my chat and he'd search up the names. Like, do you know how Phasmophobia has auto-generated names? He
Yeah.
would search up the names and he'd find an actual like related ghost story to that name, and then he'd start reading it out and stuff. And then coincidentally, things that he said started happening in games. That was like the most like mind-tripping moment where I was like, well, maybe I don't want to be here anymore. And it's really good at jump scaring me. That game has a lot of moments. It's very atmospheric, I'd say.
So you do a lot of scary games here and there. What kind of games are you not into, and why?
I'm not into like real-time strategy games, specifically on stream, just because it's really slow, and I like games personally that are a lot more fast-paced. They require like more focusing, mechanical skill, things like that, and just having slow gameplay kind of contrasts my entire vibe. So, not my thing.
All right. Slobo, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
What is your Twitch goal?
My Twitch goal, probably just to get to a point where I'm happy with the content I create and I'm able to have a stable community of people that I can always just, you know, make them happier. Because probably the thing that fuels me most on Twitch is when people are like, I like your content, and you know, you actually make my day better. And I'm like, that's like a huge responsibility for me, and I do pride myself on being able to actually entertain them and make them forget about anything bad that happened that day.
Speaking of content, let's speak about that one time you got donated to play Fortnite.
Okay, yeah. So for some reason, my chat has a big Fortnite thing, and it's not because they like Fortnite. They don't like Fortnite. In fact, I think the second that I started playing Fortnite, my viewers dipped to like one of the lowest numbers I've ever seen, and the chat was just completely dead. Nobody was talking. But this one time, chat decided that it'd be a funny idea if they donated money and said to play Fortnite. And I jokingly said I would when they asked in chat, and then they actually did it, so then I was kind of obligated to do it. I ended up playing Fortnite, and it was actually not bad. With the people I was playing with, Alpha and I think it was Yig, were actually pretty fun to play with. They were really nice. They actually taught me how to like not suck at the game. Unfortunately, I'm not good at Fortnite, and I got so many 90s cranked on me, and then viewership went down, chat died, and I was like, well, I'll keep playing until the point that I feel like I don't want to play the game anymore. So I kept going, and then eventually I got to a point where I got back into just chatting. Chat came back and laughed about the whole experience because it was interesting for sure. But again, chat definitely dictates a bunch of the stuff that I do on stream.
And what other games would you get donated for playing that type of game? Like, what games? What just a limit to your games? Like, which is the limit?
Obviously anything against Twitch TOS is probably the limit, but in terms of games that I don't like, if someone again makes me like, if they're like, hey, if I donate like $10 for you to play, let's say like an RTS game, like I said, how I don't like them, I'd probably just be like, no, because I'd just be bored of playing it. At least Fortnite has sort of a fast aspect to it occasionally. But anything that's purely just against Twitch TOS or against the sort of vibe we have, probably wouldn't play it. So
Now let's talk about your one clip, your White Boy Strats clip. What was that about? Yeah.
I might need a refresher on that clip.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Yeah, the Minecraft clip. You know, where you took off your shirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So
Yo.
this is when I think it was. So I have a system in my Twitch streams where you can use channel points to redeem a dare that I have to do, and it costs I think like 2,500 or somewhere around there. So I think it was it Sentient or was someone else used the dare and decided to say take off your shirt, and I was like, well, not against Twitch TOS, gotta do it. So I did it, and it was definitely interesting because I am scrawny little weak man. So how it is.
Alright, go ahead, slow boy. Slow boy.
I
Can't
think
just
he
put me
died.
on the spot like this. Here's a good
got
question. What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal. Oh, this is a question I have so much like struggle answering. Um, favorite animal is between the red panda and a fox because the red panda is considered like to look the closest to a fox there is. I just like the aesthetic of a fox because they're like super floofy. I like the fluff, and they're just the most, I guess, like adorable sort of thing. So that's where the appeal is. Just
So
feature
how'd
fluffy.
you come up with your name, the oddball? And are these things
Uh,
told about you on your Twitch stream? Are you actually a furry?
No, this question is asked so often. No, I don't believe uh that I am, but a lot of other people like to joke about it for sure. We do accept them in our community. I believe that's where it stems from, but I honestly have no idea. Probably back from VR chat when I used to play that because I had an avatar from an anime that people could consider a furry. So yeah. But my name actually it comes from sort of how I describe myself. I'm usually like very out there and sort of the opposite personality from like a normal conversation. You know, you'd have like everyone there, and then you'd have me. So I'm the oddball, I'm the odd one out. And then I also decided that I'd take the name because of I was a big Halo guy back in the day, and there's a game mode literally called Oddball, and it has skulls, and I actually have like I like skulls, I like roses, and I like fire a lot. Uh, I'm considered a pyromaniac because I like that fire that much. But so it kind of like built me into a brand sort of. So like the skull, I used the skull as like a symbol to recognize Oddball, and that sort of became my thing. And it's actually on this
Shows the merch.
jacket is the skull with the crown. Yeah, it's the this is specifically the blood champion hoodie. I'm pretty sure.
And tell us
so
about
it's got
your
the
apparel.
crown. It's got a crown. It's got roses. It's got skulls. I couldn't add fire to it because it just would look weird with the whole clean aesthetic of it. So yeah, and then the last part of my name also stems from me liking jets a lot. I really like jets. I like planes. Flying is super interesting. I like learning about it. I like teaching it a lot. And you probably see that through War Thunder because that's like all I play is jets and planes. And there was a pilot in Star Wars because I'm also like a very big Star Wars guy. I'm a huge nerd on it. I love it. It's great. Mandalorian especially is super solid. Probably like one of my favorite things. Keeps me entertained constantly. And that pilot was named Oddball, and I was like, damn, this is literally describing like all of me is like the skull, the way I like brand myself being sort of out there, and then piloting. That's like the three main things. So it really shaped me into like it the name describes me well, is what I would say. And fire is definitely another big part. you can ask probably anyone that has played games with me outside of streaming that I will usually, if there's a game that I can set you on fire in, I'm probably gonna do it. So
Let's ask that question to Sentinel. Sentinel, is that accurate?
I mean, yeah, we'll be pretty accurate.
Awesome. So yeah, go ahead and tell us about your merch, your merchandise, your oddball merch.
yeah. So my merchandise actually first started a few months back, and it was a collaboration between me and a friend I'd met. His name is Void. I'm not gonna say his real name because that's kind of weird, champ. But so you can actually see it on this merch. It says his name right below it, and it's upside down, so it's the opposite. Because we became good friends through just our mutual similarities in the way we like music. We like sort of like a mellow metal, some like maybe aggressive, some like that sort of vibe. And my music taste is definitely very wide. I like every type of music, except for country, just because country's boring to me personally. But yeah, he's definitely one of my probably biggest inspirations in terms of a person, um, because he's always able to make me laugh, and I think that's a really important value is that he can always like bring my spirits up. So him being on the merch always is just like sort of an homage to him, and he also helped make most of it. I'm pretty sure the only ones he hasn't made is my most recent ones, which would be like the mint merch, which is like a sort of soft vibe. It has like a lot lighter colors, has mint text just to fit in with every color, and it's definitely a contrast to what I normally wear. And my stream vibe, which is like obviously the red, white, black, gray. It's nice to have that contrast to like light blue, teal, like a pink color. It's very refreshing, I'd say.
Awesome.
Alright. Has COVID affected you in any way? With your streaming or anything?
COVID has affected in the sense that I'm not able to really go anywhere, in the sense of like I've always wanted to do content where I'm just like walking and finding new things, like exploring and such. And COVID definitely does not like that because there's a fugitive, not fugitive. There's a lockdown, and it was not fun because it had us. So I think it was like maybe 2 months full of just you can't go outside past a certain time. So that was not fun, and it really put a wrench in the whole like exploring plans and trying to like change what kind of content I do, because I like changing and just rotating in and out, so I always have like fresh ideas and new content.
Yep. But how did COVID affect you and during streams? Like, did you see an increase of people or decrease of viewers?
That's hard to say because month by month it fluctuates, but I'd have to say that COVID definitely improved viewership just because everyone's locked inside. They don't really have things to do. They're working from home, so they can always just pull up their streamer, whoever they like, on another tab and watch them. And I've certainly noticed increased viewerships in a lot of other people's streams as well. And I think they would also say that COVID has helped them just because people are inside. They're not doing other things. They're here, so they can always just pull it up, set it down, have background noise, whatever they want to do.
So tell us on stream about your future plans for your gaming room, about your LED lights right behind you, or upcoming LED lights.
Yeah. So right now the current plan is I actually have a camera right here. I have a tripod and such, and what we're gonna do is I was gonna place a green screen along a wall back there, and it's gonna have sort of a Dr. Disrespect's vibe where I'm gonna build myself a 3D scene that fits my stream, and then I'm gonna green screen myself onto it during stream. So like if I'm just chatting, I can switch to a scene where it's more intriguing, like there's more stuff to look at behind me. Maybe there's like a panel full of the people's names, and I feel like it would increase just like my sort of stream lore in a sense. Like break myself away from like a standard streamer and make me more unique. And specifically with the LED lights, I really like the red lights because they're just the stream vibe. And I was probably gonna get a custom panel eventually that just says either Oddball or has my logo, maybe like a crown, something like that, just to signify me. And I was gonna put it on one of the walls and just have it be there, just to like have something to look at.
Awesome. That's very unique of you, adding some more LED lights in the back. But like, how long have you been streaming for over on Twitch? And if you ever like streamed on Mixer, Facebook Gaming, YouTube?
I've actually had a few different stints on Twitch and YouTube before this. I started out on YouTube streaming from an Xbox One playing Halo 5 because I would have custom game nights where anybody in chat could come join in and play with us, and it would just be tons of custom games, you know, like Infection. I also went in Halo Reach and did the same thing. So we had this game type called Speed Halo. If you don't know what that is, super fun. It's like a giant slide. People ride down it, and then there's people at the bottom that try to kill them. It's just an interesting game, you know. Chat can always join in. It was very fun, and I definitely had like a pretty good viewership then. Unfortunately, I was 100% a squeaker. My voice was so high, and it didn't really fit the whole like host sort of thing well. So obviously, I just kind of stayed stagnant. And after a while, I just kind of got bored of doing the custom nights because I've been doing them for like months straight at that point, and just hosting them was just kind of not being fun for me anymore. So then I moved on to Twitch, where I streamed Destiny 2. Actually, no, Destiny 1 at first, and then Destiny 2. And I got pretty good at it, and I was having fun. I was vibing. I had a lot of my friends join in, and it was definitely fun. I didn't have almost any viewership at all. It was probably like 1 to 3 people usually, but it was fun, and it definitely re-inspired me to want to make content. And then from there, I chose to go back on YouTube, where I went and made Halo content again, surprisingly. And I went through, and what I did is I trolled people because it was entertaining to me. And so people would be like super overly serious in the game for whatever reason. They'd have giant clans where they'd force you to do, I think, stupid things. So I would go in and I just have my fun. I would like destroy them with just me or my friend, and we'd have fun. We'd like lock down whatever they were doing. It was entertaining, and it was really fun. I got the attention of a YouTuber by the name of Baus, who you can now know as Boss. He's changed his name, but he was super cool. He's another Halo 5 streamer and YouTuber, and he did the same sort of content as me, and he found one of my videos and actually commented on it. I since privated all those videos because my voice was, again, squeaker levels, but it was definitely what inspired me back into making content.
So, how hard did you work to get to where you are now?
Well, I would say that I've put a lot of effort into it. I keep evolving content. I keep making new things. I try to give back to the community as much as possible. None of the donations that I get go towards like out of stream things. Usually all the donations I get will go straight towards things for stream. Actually, fun fact, this entire room was built on the money that I got from streaming, because this room used to have carpet floors. I had a disintegrating couch. I was playing with a mouse and keyboard on my kneecaps because I didn't have a desk. 60-inch TV from like 9 years ago, and it was like 10 feet away from the couch. It was really hard to see. And I was just playing SCP, vibing on it, playing Halo, all things like that. And through donations from a lot of absolutely generous people who I think only like a few of them stuck around now, basically made this entire room because I used that money that I got from stream to make a better room so I can continue to get better content and keep evolving as a sort of influencer.
Which viewer? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Which viewer came onto your stream when they noticed you when you started streaming?
That's actually kind of hard. It would probably be between Eight Lives Now, who I refer to as Icy, because that's how I knew him back when I first started streaming, and it's between him and Void. We're both like always in chat first, always there, always talking, really just making chat feel more of like a friendly place. So uh I'd like to commemorate them for that. 100%.
How come you stopped streaming Minecraft?
Again, I like to rotate out content, so usually I never stick to one game. I'm usually going in between multiple different games, changing what I do. And Minecraft is always a thing that comes and goes for me. I like it, and then I play it a lot, and then I kind of dies, and I kind of switch between content in Minecraft. I'll do like Bed Wars or like going on Hypixel, or then I'll just do hardcore or like solo survival, things like that. I did an SMP twice. Both ended up in absolutely just World War levels of chaos, and it was great because it was very entertaining for me. So,
Have you
usually just
ever
Minecraft comes and goes.
have you ever done like a speed run on Minecraft or built big magnificent building like I don't know a whole city on Minecraft?
No, I have never built anything significant, but I for sure used to be into redstone a lot, so I was always able to make like cool contraptions and shit. And then, oh, speedrunning, right? Speedrunning. I did a few speedrun streams, but my chat, because they can dare me to do things, they dared me to jump in lava. So they would just absolutely ruin the speedruns. And it was really funny because I'd get like halfway through it and they'd be like, oh, jump in the lava. And then I have to reset. It was still entertaining because I was able to get through half the game pretty quickly. Eventually, I reached the Ender Dragon after ignoring their dares. And then I got hit off a cliff and died. But it was fun. So I'm obviously not a dream level Minecraft player.
That sounds very hectic. Going back to your favorite movie or genre of movies like Star Wars, what's your favorite TV show? Like, WandaVision's out, Winter Soldier and Falcon's out. What's something you enjoy watching?
TV show wise, right now I don't watch too much, but I would like to say that WandaVision is probably like the favorite TV show that I have. It used to be Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the animated series, because it was there's so many seasons of it. It's insane, and it was probably the most like interesting Star Wars content that was out at the time. So I really just like ate it up, and I watched it like every day it came out, every week. So that was probably the biggest thing. They finally wrapped it up. The final seasons happened, and I definitely watched those. Literally, as soon as they came out, I was on my phone at like 1 a.m. and they came out, and I would watch them the second that they came out. So yeah, very good.
So, how much do you know about Star Wars?
Too much.
Oh,
Yeah, I know a lot just because I think the lore is interesting. I know the most about the clone era because it's the most interesting to me because it's very military focused, and it's like unique in the sense of that as much as they are clones, they're unique people. So
awesome. Sentinel had a question for you.
Who ruined the first SMP of your Minecraft server?
who ruined the first SMP? That's a hard one. Um, man, I wouldn't say anyone in particular ruined it. It was more of a collective effort of me being like the sort of community founder and then having people who wanted to be in the community and be friendly and people who were just the complete opposite and wanted to just let everything burn. And it was probably between I don't even remember their username anymore because it was so long ago. Because the second SMP is where like I remembered usernames more because there was a lot more people that were actually like specific builders. People build like towers and such, or they'd build bases. So I wouldn't say any one person ruined it, but it was definitely the collective effort of people who just wanted the world to burn. So I mean, they did well.
So in your recent stream, you played Phasmophobia 4 days ago. Tell us about Barbara.
Oh God, Barbara. Uh, Interesting. Um, Barbara has sort of been a long-standing joke whenever I play Phasmophobia because the first Barbara I encountered, not the first one, but one of the first major ones I encountered was a demon. So it's supposed to kill you as fast as possible. It's supposed to be the most aggressive. And this is where I gained the name, literally Demon Daddy, from my chat, because the fact that the demon would go up to me and then just not kill me. It would just go up to me, stare at me, and walk away. And I'd be like, well, I guess the ghost likes me. And from that point on, demons would literally never kill me. But I died to a lot of other ghosts. Not very frequently, but I died to a lot of other ghosts. But for some reason, demons would never kill me. Whenever I found out that there was a demon would just walk up to me, stare at me, leave, or just never hunt me for whatever reason, even though they're supposed to be like the most aggressive. So, very interesting. The most recent Barbara was, I think, when I was playing with Sky and Kiva, maybe Sentient and David were there as well. And David, if I'm remembering this specific ghost correctly, he was having a turkey moment with the ghost, and that's a inside joke about a guy who we banned from a server because he was just weird, and for some reason he DM'd someone about something to do with turkeys, and we just called it turkey moment from that point on. So it's now been a sticking joke where we just very forcefully make it into a sort of bit that we can use.
So I know that you like to eat a lot of food on stream. What's your favorite snack?
Snack.
Yes.
In terms of a snack, I'd probably say, oh, that's so hard because like there's so many good things that I can have at different times. Favorite snack though would probably have to be Pocky, just because Pocky's like any time in the day I can eat Pocky. It doesn't really matter.
I mean, those chocolate covered sticks?
Yeah, well, they're not always chocolate. They can be literally any flavor you want, which is kind of the point, is that they fit any sort of occasion. They're just like very simple tasting biscuit, not super complex. I can eat it at any
actually
time of
remember
day.
you eating those on stream. You had 4 boxes, I believe. You ate them like under an hour.
No, that's the Kit Kats. I had 4 bags of Kit Kats because Sky sent me 2, and then my friend Abby came over and brought me 2 more. So I had 4 bags of Kit Kats in a giant tower that was just sitting there. I still haven't gotten through it. I ate as many as I could, which was like 5, and then I gave up. So I put them in a candy dish, and I've invited tons of people over since then that we all know are like COVID free because we've all gotten tested and such before and after we encounter, and we just give them the candy that I have left over, and I think I've gotten through like 2 out of the 4 bags now. So good job on them. They like candy a lot.
And I think
What was that
Central
It
has more
Yeah.
questions. Go ahead.
what was that moment of you destroying your headphones and throwing them to the ground?
I think I still have them. Let me check. Essentially, it was because I got these headphones and I no longer needed my old ones, and these headphones have caused me so much pain. I do have them. These have caused me so much pain to the point where, like, if you didn't know, it had like soft earmuffs on the edge, and these would always fall off, and they were hard as hell to put on because they have these little lips, and it took me ages to put them back on. And then the microphone itself broke. It was the most uncomfortable headset I think I've ever worn. I'm pretty sure it's like a Logitech something, but it was like super old. It's mostly plastic, super easy to break. The battery would always die midstream. It would just sometimes not connect to my computer at all. So when I got the wired ones that will always work and are very reliable, these ones kind of faded out. So I decided to commemorate these things causing me so much pain and such, I would just destroy them on stream, and I did. I like ripped them in half, as you can tell. It's like hanging by a string, threw them in a corner. super strange way to do it, but it was fun. It was fun, and it certainly gave me something to do for a stream. I think everybody was very destructive at that time because I was like, we're gonna destroy him. And everybody in chat was like, throw it at the wall. I was like, that's gonna damage my wall. This is also the first headset I used for streaming. You can go back into like my super old Twitch clips when I was first streaming playing SCP, and my mic quality was absolute garbage. Was because of this. This is the mic I used, and it was awful, and I hated it. It was interesting, and I'm glad that I destroyed it. So, yes, that is the microphone, or the story of the headset, I guess.
What were your reaction when Icy killed you on the airfield in War Thunder?
See, this is a long-running joke now. Icy always team kills me in War Thunder. There's a clip when I was still using that headset, back when I was talking with Chris and Icy back when I first met them. And we were playing realistic battles for like the first time ever, and Icy decided his first action would be to shoot me down, and he did, and that was the clip of me screaming Icy. Actually, you can probably find it, and I definitely was just like, I wasn't mad at him. It was more of just like a reaction to be funny. And ever since then, anytime I try to do anything like landing or whatever, he'll purposely be like, just hold S, and then my thing flips over or whatever, and I crash and blow up. He just purposely tries to get me killed, and I think it's really funny. So it's just a long-running history of him team killing me.
You should also tell us about that one time you spent like over $30 on a plane in War Thunder.
Oh, yeah, the Harrier costed what, like $60? It was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so someone donated to me and was like, yo, like, because I was like, dude, this Harrier looks pretty sick, right? And I never played jets before. That's like the first. Well, I have played jets, but I haven't played like high tier jets before. And I was like, damn, this looks sick, you know, like this looks like fun to play. And then for some reason, the guy donated money and was like, get the Harrier, and I was like, well, might as well do it now. So it definitely brought a lot of good moments, I'd say, though, because I definitely used that plane a lot. So respect to that guy, because that was fun. So yes, the Harrier comes from a guy donating to me for no reason. Grab cameras.
How fun is it to play with other people that you actually like on Phasmophobia, Minecraft, War Thunder?
I mean, some games definitely fit like playing with people more than others. Like if I'm playing Minecraft, it kind of requires people to be sort of the gamers for me because I'm usually focusing on chat. Like in War Thunder, I can easily like multitask chat, and I can interact with everybody easily. So that's much easier. But some games like maybe Minecraft or whatever, like when I'm playing on the SMP and people try to interact with me and I'm like talking to chat, it makes it a little bit harder. Just for the reason that I like to put chat first. Like I like to respond to their questions, and in the SMP, I probably had like the most active chat I've ever had because people were just like constantly wanting to see things, want me to do things, answer questions, things like that.
And you also play Rainbow Six. Tell us any funny moments you had in that game or anything interesting that happened to you while playing Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six is an interesting game because I actually got into the game from my friend Abby. We played way back in like middle school. So they got me into it. They were always much better than me. Eventually I got to a point where I was like good at the game, like not very good, but I could play with them. And then I kind of just like retained that level of skill for whatever reason. So when I got back into playing it recently because of my friend David, I definitely was having much more fun playing it again, and I sort of retained that same skill level. So it's a very focusing required game. Like it requires you to focus a lot. So like chat is usually a little bit harder to read just because like every little sound could mean that the guy is right behind you and he's gonna shoot you in the back of the head, or like someone's detonating through a wall or whatever. So it definitely requires a lot more focus, but it is definitely more fun more recently, just because of all the changes. Because back when I played, there wasn't like any of the operators that we have now, so it definitely is. It's a much different game than I remember, and I think that's why it's fun. And I like playing with David and Skull because they are a very interesting dynamic to have while playing. Because Skull takes it upon himself to sort of like passively bully, I would say, not really like actually bullying, but like passively bullying us into being like better players. So like if we're doing bad, he'll like call us out or whatever, call us dog water, things like that, and then it like sort of like makes us want to play better. So he's definitely inspiring in that sense that he is the dynamic of not caring what we think.
What's the one thing that you would like to change about yourself?
One thing I'd like to change with myself. Honestly, probably just like that's such a like a hard question. Honestly, probably the fact that I'm like slightly colorblind because I get harped on it a lot on stream. People are always like, "That is not the color you just said it was." Especially hurts me in Bed Wars because in Minecraft Bed Wars, there are very similar colors to me, and I often say I'm going to a base and I run to the complete opposite base, and I'm like, "Well, this is the color that I see," and chat is like, "That is nowhere near what that color is. I could be looking at pink and think it's red. I could be looking at like a blue and purple together, and I go to the purple one instead of the blue one, even though I'm saying I'm going to blue." So
Speaking of your
it's just
colorblindness, how do you play Among Us? Your recent
how to play
clips.
Among Us.
Yes.
Yeah. So I always chose the white color just because it was easy for me to like distinguish myself from every other color, except for like yellow sort of blends in, like blue sort of blended in. Everything else is pretty different. So just because like the drastic color contrasts, I sort of different focus on the color, but it was much more of like I'm going to try to outplay people in the sense of I'm just going to murder as many people as quickly as I can, and then I can easily redirect blame on someone else because I'm much more of like an authoritative voice whenever I'm playing that game, because that's like my strategy towards winning is just like forcing the conversation into like a different way. And it worked out very well because I rarely ever got voted off. And I was also a pretty good crewmate because I'm able to just piece together parts of like where someone was, why that would happen, how they got to a different place, things like that. So Among Us was a very fun game. It definitely got me mad a few times though, because I would usually get targeted because I'm the streamer. I'd get killed first, so I definitely had to keep being on my toes and like not go to people who I know are gonna kill me first.
Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
That is such a rough question because it's like I don't like interacting too much. I like focusing more on like what I'm doing. Like if in real life specifically, like a bunch of people over at my house always like makes me just want to go in here and like stream because I'm much more like open on stream. I can easily talk about things without being like concerned about it. But even then during like parties and such, I like to sort of be like the person making everyone laugh. I like to be the person like sort of being like the center of interest. Like I like to be the person making the fun happen. So it's kind of a weird mix. I'm definitely introverted in the sense of the way that I think, but I'm extroverted in terms of like I like being sort of the entertainer for sure.
Alrighty, here's a fancy question. What's your
Okay.
favorite game?
Favorite game is gonna be Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005.
Yes.
Because when I was in the hospital with a brain tumor, my dad brought in an Xbox original, like the first one that was ever made, and he brought Halo 2 and Battlefront 2. And I played so much Battlefront 2 in the hospital because it was like I would like get a shot, like pass out for a while, wake up for like maybe an hour or two, and just be able to play it. And it was definitely like my most fond memories because it was like my sort of escape from like feeling horrible was like to play that game. So I have very fond memories of it.
Speaking of your tumor, we also had a question for you about that. Tell us about your backstory and how hard things went throughout your life. Like the one time you mentioned on stream that you wanted to commit suicide, and your wife, I believe, saved you. Girlfriend. I didn't.
Probably girlfriend. I don't have a wife. But yeah, so there was a time when it was life was like super rough for me because I had been going through like constant surgeries. Like every day of my life, I had to go get MRIs, which take hours. They used to before we got new machines, but it took hours when I was in them. And it was definitely interesting, shots every day, constant surgery, always having that like fear of death. And then eventually I just kind of got over that. And I've been able to transition less or more and more off of like the need for like MRIs every week or every day or whatever. Now it's like biannual, so every 2 years or like every year I'll get an MRI just because I'm much more capable now. So it's definitely improved me in that sense. And it has been a little bit rough on my life. Obviously, I've lost a few things. Like I lost the ability to write legibly because of the motor skill is specifically attached to a part of a brain that was surgically removed. So I can't physically write legibly no matter how hard I try. So, uh, yeah, I've gotten much better with a lot of other things though. Like I believe that just because I went through it, I feel like I'm more compassionate towards people. I'm always able to understand how people feel when they're like at their lowest because I was definitely there. And I had a best friend by the name of Jean Luca who actually helped me out of that. And I think I can attribute me being like happy at that time in life was definitely because of John Luca and Abby, who are both my best friends. So yeah.
So our previous co-host is now gonna be leaving. Thank you, Slowboy, for joining us.
Audio.
See you later.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, my apologies for coming in late, guys. I was busy with other things and stuff like that.
So speaking of this illness you had, what advice or little words of motivation would you give to people suffering throughout the same thing as you did in the past?
Mm. Well, brain cancer is sort of funky. It definitely varies. Tumors vary. I also had to get like spinal taps and such. So I guess usually what you're gonna do in that situation is just like there's always gonna be stuff in life to make you happy. Like no matter how like low I felt or the stuff I went through, um, I kind of always looked forward towards something else. Like what do I want to do? What's the goal? And I definitely had people to help me along the way. And I think that attributing and keeping your friends close and having them always be supportive is definitely a big part. And obviously, there's always light at the end of a tunnel. So you just got to get there.
You're muted, nerdy.
Yeah, you're
What
muted.
keeps you motivated to continue to stream, and how hard is it to change your content throughout throughout years of you doing like straight on War Thunder or I don't know Minecraft? Like for you as a streamer, how hard is it to switch over to a different type of content that viewers might not know of or not might like to watch?
Mm. So usually, what it is it's kind of difficult to find new content, but it's usually just like people in chat always recommend things. I'll try it out. I'll see if I like it. I'll see if they like it, and then I usually have like specific games that I know I can always fall back on. So like obviously Minecraft is like always going to be fairly popular. War Thunder is pretty fairly popular, so like games that I can always fall back on to trust if for some reason another game isn't doing well. I can always have like fallback games and stuff. Finding new content though, is really difficult because I'm constantly testing things. Like recently I tested Payday 2. That didn't go so well, but I had a lot of fun playing it. So like maybe I turn that into videos instead and we see how it does on YouTube. Just because there's definitely a major content change between the way people watch YouTube and the way people watch Twitch. Twitch is sort of like based on interaction and like short attention span, while YouTube is more focused on like sort of the style of video and what they're doing. At least that's how I feel about it. So it's definitely interesting, and I feel like keeping a fresh dynamic is important just because it makes me feel less burnt out over time. And when I am burnt out, I take like a day break, maybe 2 days of break, and then I'm able to get back into it. So
And what are your visions from when you started Twitch 3 years ago to now, when you became affiliated? Like, what do you see yourself doing in the future towards yourself once you started out on Twitch?
Back when I first started, I definitely would not ever see myself here, just because like the way I was streaming and like such was just so like, I guess, basic. Like you can find plenty of other streamers who do way better stuff, but for some reason people watched me, and then were able to evolve me into what I am now and what I will continue to be. And I feel like upgrading like content and sort of like having always sort of interesting things to do, like scenes and such, or like interactivity is really important for me, and I feel like I've really stepped that up over time with interactivity. Chat is always going to be able to do something on stream and sort of change it in some way, and I feel like that's really an important part of who I am as a streamer, is that chat can always change things on like a dime.
Go ahead and ask your question, Justin.
Okay. Let me actually see real quick. Oops, my bad. Have we talked about how COVID has affected your channel either positively or negatively?
Yeah.
Okay. What's one thing you would do different than knowing the stuff you know now than what before you started Twitch?
Well, I mean, I wish I knew that it's a lot harder. I definitely went into it just thinking that it was gonna be easy, you know, you just play a game, but it definitely requires a special level of focus and like sort of a multitasking aspect that I didn't expect, that I've gotten pretty good at handling now. And it sort of brings out the creative side that I have. I'm very good at thinking of sort of quick fixes for things and like creative new ideas, but it's very hard to express them, and I feel like with the limited time you have as a streamer, like that attention span sort of phase, it kind of is like how fast you can get that new content out, how like how fast you can change, how much you can like evolve, and just sort of keep people entertained for that short amount of time, and then how you have to do that thousands of times over throughout the entire stream.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially with like me, I just started streaming not too long ago and stuff. I have about 10 followers, no big deal, whatever. I just do it for fun. It's just the fact that you have to be able to come up with new content, what you want to do, what pleases the crowd, stuff like this. Is there anything that you would do differently, or if seeing how you know what you could do differently, how would you approach it then as now?
I probably would have focused a lot more on like sort of changing content at the beginning, because I definitely started out with SCP, War Thunder, and like I would just do that every day. I just played those two games. It'd be like basically the same sort of thing every day. And then I feel like when I started changing the content is when I definitely started taking off a little bit more. But I guess everyone has a place to start, and you kind of have to like test the waters to get into a flow. Once you're in that flow, you just kind of gotta keep going.
Sentinel had a question for you. Sentinel.
I like that you call him Sentinel.
It's
You
not-
mean sentient?
What's
Oh.
been your biggest mistake so far in life, and what did you learn from it?
My biggest mistake in life so far was probably I guess not taking myself as seriously as I should. I would always just sort of compare myself to a lower standard, and it definitely would affect me. And then once I got into more of like a healthy aspect of just comparing myself to like something a little bit bigger and trying to reach for something, I feel like it definitely inspired me more, because I was in a very stuck place for a very long time in terms of content and like who I was as a person. And I feel like you always need a goal to shoot for to be able to change.
So tell us about your accomplishments and what you're most proud of over on Twitch or in a game, or even on your YouTube or social platforms.
I'm just proud that I'm able to put out content every day. I feel like that's really important for me, is that I'm able to get it every day. I've been trying to focus more on like YouTube for a while, but I feel like with me streaming every day, I kind of need another person to like come in and be able to like take my content and make it into something viewable in terms of YouTube, because with streaming every day, having schoolwork constantly to do, it definitely takes a lot of time out. And if I was to try to balance YouTube editing on top of that, which takes quite a while for my long streams, I probably wouldn't have enough time to like hang out with people or just like de-stress. So it always helps to have other people help you along the way, for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely, especially with small streamers and stuff like me and Nerdy and stuff. Having people help would pretty much take the load off, especially from streaming to editing videos to uploading them, making sure the schedule stays perfectly aligned with what you want to do and stuff like that.
So viewers can expect a lot of different things over on your Twitch. Tell us about your YouTube and what you want to post there, or if there anything is posted already.
Well, I always want to keep a series going called Twitch Recap. It's sort of just a recap of my most popular clips, or just the clips that have been taken throughout the week that are like the most entertaining and funny. Just because I feel like it always shows what content I'm doing at that time. It'll show my change in content, the change in like what I'll be doing. It'll always bring like sort of a fresh aspect. Like it's sort of like a you can expect this when I'm streaming sort of thing. And on top of having that sort of like be a weekly or bi-weekly sort of thing, I feel like it'd always be important to have like YouTube exclusive content, or just record on the side and get it edited, just because YouTube content is definitely different than Twitch content. So I feel like you kind of have to balance both and have both to make a YouTube channel work. So that's the goal.
And you told us before that you play a little bit of Rainbow Six, mainly War Thunder. Tell us about Minecraft and what big changes have you done over on your SMPs, or will be doing on your content on Twitch.
I started out playing Minecraft on Hypixel, where I would just invite viewers to come and join me in a ton of different mini games and such. And that was good for a while, but the mini games get very dull and repetitive over time. So I made an SMP server, which is my first SMP. It was very rough because it's my first time ever doing it. So it was definitely a learning experience. A lot of lag, a lot of war happened, which was very fun for me, just in terms of like new sort of content. Like, you usually don't build factions against people, but it was entertaining in that sense. No bad blood between anybody. And then I went from there back to Hypixel just because there was new mini games. I wanted to go back into the game that I got a lot better at, which is Bed Wars, where I became like much quicker, much more efficient. So I'm able to focus on chat while just having that gameplay be in the background, which is pretty important. Like be able to explain what I'm doing. And then I made the second SMP, which was super fun, very eventful. We had a ton of community events. It was very entertaining, and then it ended up me against an entire server essentially, and then I had people at the literally the very last moment. It was me on top of a hill, people on another hill after they blown up my house, like 7 of them, against literally just me, and then I slowly had people come in and help me instead, and it was definitely very fun. We ended up winning. Very good in terms of just like community, like showing what we can do and such. And then the most recent thing I've done with Minecraft is I made an event server where people can hop on at certain times whenever I announce it during stream, and we'll play different mini games. We can like hide and seek, things like that. Just something that the community can always join in on, like a survival sort of thing. That went for a little bit until I sort of like lost the passion in being able to run a server like that. So definitely gone back to like hardcore single player sort of vibes, just because it's easier for me to interact with chat, have a motive, do it, and then continue just like expressing through objectives, I guess.
How come you kept the name Demon Daddy?
That's from Phasmophobia. The reason that name stuck around is just because even recently, you can go back in their most recent stream where it was a demon, it didn't kill me and it killed everyone else, and I'm very happy about it. So obviously the name still works because demons still for some reason don't kill me, so it works for me.
Yeah, speaking of your channel, remember that one stream where you chugged cold water down your throat? Let's talk about that.
We really need to though. Do we really need to? Is that thing we need to talk about?
Maybe.
It was. I think I was dared to do it. I'm not quite sure, but it was really interesting. And again, the whole chat aspect, being able to like influence what the stream does, they definitely take advantage of that. I used to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I was playing the Royale mode and Warzone, and they would always drown me. So there's a lot of moments where I was just like drinking like cups and cups of water and like actually drowning. And then there was also a moment where I had things called gamer glasses that people can redeem to put on. It's these glasses. You cannot see anything in these glasses. This makes my entire screen pitch black. I cannot see a thing. They loved redeeming that in Warzone. And I would often be in like a firefight situation. They redeem it. I'd put the glasses on, wouldn't be able to see anything, and would have fun stuff happen. There was a moment where I taped it to my face. I don't know if you guys found that clip, but it was in one of my videos where I taped the glasses to my face because people would not stop redeeming it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna put duct tape and just duct tape it to my face. And it looked stupid, but it was very entertaining. So.
And speaking of these challenges, let's say, hypothetically saying, if your chat redeemed your dares, would you wear a maid costume?
Yeah, I think I would have to. Yeah, no, as long as it's not TOS, it's definitely a dare that I'm usually gonna do. So I think over time, dares have definitely gotten worse. Like dares used to just be like super simple, like challenges and such, and then it sort of became like, well, because we know that the rule is like as long as it's not TOS, they kind of like abuse that. So I would say, yeah, I think that would be a thing that I'd have to do because of the fact that the way dares work on my channel.
I think I might have to redeem that. Let's. What's the cringiest thing you've done on your channel?
Cringiest thing, honestly, just playing Fortnite. It hurts because whenever I play Fortnite, I get super young people in my chat, and I'm very explicit, and they just do not belong in my chat in terms of like my sort of content. I would just feel bad exposing them to me. So, yeah. Fortnite is definitely the most cringiest thing I've done.
Justin, do you have any questions?
Let's see. What are your hobbies outside of streaming?
Ooh. I like airsofting a lot. I think airsofting is really fun. I definitely like the aspect of just being able to go have fun with friends, you know, and sort of be in that sort of situation because a lot of my family has military background, so it's definitely like sort of like it's just more of a fun sort of homage to like I'm definitely not gonna join the military ever. Like that's not my plan. But it's definitely fun to just have a game where you can actually do it in real life. And then on top of that, I also like planes a lot, so I definitely go around and I've gone to a few air museums. I'm gonna go to one maybe this week, and I'm gonna go check it out just because I like learning history of a lot of different aircrafts, and it's definitely a hobby of mine. And only other hobby I really have other than like just streaming and airsoft is probably cooking. I think cooking is super fun. I like to hold barbecues and such. I've gotten really good at cooking steaks especially, so just saying, make mean steaks.
Speaking
Now, before we go any further, how do you like your steaks?
Well done.
I'm
Here's-
hoping you're joking.
Yeah, no, I am joking. It's medium rare.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna say if you said anything higher than medium rare, we cannot. be
Nobody,
friends.
nobody in the world should like anything that's burnt to a crisp. You cannot like the taste of like charcoal. That doesn't make sense. But yeah, no, medium rare is the thing I go for. If anybody ever asks me to do well done, I don't think I'm gonna do it. I think I would just keep it to what I know. I've gotten really good at cooking medium rare, even just rare. Like isn't the most difficult. Obviously, you have to cook it, but you can't cook it past like a certain point. But anybody that likes charcoal is definitely interesting because it tastes like you're eating dirt. I would say.
so
Dirty.
this question comes from Buddy. Truth or dare?
That's not a question, though.
It's going to be a question.
Truth.
Truth. What's your deepest secret?
Deepest secret. Deepest secret probably is like I sort of have an aspect of like how do you even describe that? I have an aspect whenever I'm like entertaining where it's sort of I like to joke about things a lot. Like obviously you can always joke about yourself, but usually I do believe things that I like make jokes of in terms of like myself personally. So like if I'm ever like like it's funny because of this, then it's usually like sort of like a secret self-hatred sort of thing, and I've gotten a lot better about that recently, but I definitely still don't really think that I'm the best in terms of a human, and that's sort of a thing that I don't like to say because I like to promote like good vibes and such, and me not liking myself I feel like kind of goes against that for sure.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Why or why not?
A hot dog is not a sandwich, and that's because a hot dog is its own category of food, I believe. Like you can't just call everything that is stuck between two pieces of bread a sandwich, you know, especially like a hot dog bun. A hot dog bun isn't a bread that you'd use for a sandwich, and if you do, then you go because that's interesting, and I would never do that.
Now,
Speaking of
quick
food,
question.
what other type of foods would you like to recommend us to try? Like, I'm pretty sure you don't like pineapples on pizza, but like, it's optional. It's very good. And for your future content, would you ever do a mukbang or any type of vlogs on your YouTube channel?
Probably not, but I feel like obviously like my content doesn't fit that personally, but I feel like different people want different things. Food that I'd recommend. Oh, that's so hard because like people like different things. I personally like sushi a lot. I think that sushi's good, but it's definitely an acquired sort of thing. Not everybody likes sushi. Especially some people don't like fish at all, which is interesting. I can always recommend steaks for sure. If you've never tried Wagyu, I really, really recommend it. It's expensive and it's not something that you should eat regularly. It's definitely a taste sort of food. It's gonna be expensive and it's gonna be like a sort of like a once of like every few months sort of thing. It's very good though.
Now, would you say your taste buds are Gordon Ramsay level, or just
Absolutely not. I have not tasted a lot of food. Like I haven't tasted everything under the sun. Obviously, I haven't tasted a lot of exotic dishes and such. So I wouldn't say that my palate is like super keen on picking up different things. It's just a very it's probably a pretty basic sort of taste buds, but I think I do what everyone would like really well. So like steaks is usually a thing that everybody likes. Sushi is usually pretty wide liked, but again, people don't like fish sometimes, and people don't like the raw aspect of it, even though it's like it's not like you're eating a raw steak, you know, that'd be a lot worse. You're just eating fish. So
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and go back to the hot dog as a sandwich question. Now, do you consider it being a taco?
taco. I feel like a taco is a lot different in the sense that a taco is sort of it's definitely from a different region and it was made for a different purpose. I feel like hot dogs were made to take like the worst mix of something, turn it into a sausage, and make it be able to taste good. While a taco is you take either really good meat or really cheap meat, you season it really well. It's all about like either cheese, salsa, lettuce, and then having a different type of shell, like maybe like hard shells, maybe like soft shells, things like that. With a hot dog, you can't really say that you like your hot dog to have a hard shell because then you'd be a maniac. So
Which is understandable because I mean, but in what I was looking for to see if you were going to compare the hot dog bun, which is one slice of bread just cut in half, put the hot dog in, condiments, pick relish, chili, whatever you wanted, just to see if it would be comparison to tacos, which is your bread, your meat, and your condiments.
you could say that the idea is similar, but I feel like the execution is completely different.
Oh
terms of what
yes,
they
by far, it's way completely different. But it was just a serious question.
Now, going back to your Day of Redemption points on your streams, would you ever eat something spicy like a Carolina Reaper?
Yeah, I probably would have to. And I'm not a very big fan of like overly spicy stuff. Like I like spice, but I don't like it's gonna make me literally just light on fire spice. Like I can do jalapenos, I can do a lot of different types of peppers, I can do every type of Tabasco, Sriracha, anything like that. Anything that's like meant to be good but be spicy is always good. But things that are like purposely meant to just make you want to die, I feel like are not the best option for food.
And just
So if
wondering,
someone
do you also like turn bright pinkish when you eat something very spicy?
bright pinkish,
Personally, I think that it's more of like a red color because I'm very ghostly white, and I think that that would show.
now to my question would be, if someone redeemed it, would you do the Pocky One Chip Challenge?
I don't think I've heard of the challenge.
You've never heard of the Pocky One Chip Challenge?
Nope.
Oh, I know what that
It's-
is.
Literally one single chip that's literally just pretty big. You eat it, you cannot drink anything for 5 minutes, and you have to survive. And it's made with Carolina Reaper, dust, charcoal, all sorts of different types of dust and stuff like that. And it's just one single chip challenge.
That sounds purposely difficult. I would probably do it, but I would be in 100% pain the entire time.
How long do you think you would last before having to
drink?
drink anything? Water, milk, ice cream.
I mean, what's like the standard? Because I don't know much about it. Like, I feel like personally, maybe I could last like a few minutes. Just
Most
based.
people can't last more than a minute and a half.
I guess we'll have to try it sometime then, just to see.
I could even send it to you. Send it to a PO box or something, so that way you can pick it up and do it on stream.
That sounds.
What is the weirdest thing? Oh,
Hey.
sorry.
It's okay.
no.
Just go.
What is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten in your life?
I really hate octopus and I hate squid. I know that a lot of people like them, but personally, it's like that texture of like chewy, sort of like oily mix that I really don't like. And it's definitely been the worst experience for me eating anything. And only thing different than that is my dad one time tried to get me to eat a spider. And it was like a actual cooked spider, and it was disgusting, and I never touched it. So I'm glad about that. That'd be horrible.
I don't know how you don't like squid. Fried calamari, magnificent. I mean, I could understand the texture, but like, the flavors of squid is amazing.
Well, it just depends on who cooks it and how they cook it, because a lot of people actually screw up squid, which is calamari, pretty easily because you can overcook it like that.
I believe Sentinel had a question for you about Star Wars.
Sentient.
Sentient, yes, yes.
Sentient. You'll get it eventually.
That's okay. He was talking a couple podcasts ago about a minute being more than 60 seconds.
My
I'm not
brain
sure that's how
broke.
that works.
What will be your favorite character in Star Wars show or movie?
Favorite character in all of Star Wars, or just favorite character in like a specific era?
Yeah, specific, any. Like one of the movies that you love the most.
Favorite character would probably have to be like from the Republic clone era, and that would be there's a guy who is Darth Maul's brother, and his name was Savage Opress, and he was really dope, and he's definitely one of my favorite characters just because he's like very angry and definitely like a troubled sort of like backstory to him, and he does everything for like the sake of finding and like finally reuniting with Darth Maul, which is a very interesting story. In any other era, like overall, my favorite character in all of Star Wars is a character by the name of Revan from the KOTOR games, which is Knights of the Old Republic. Super fun games, kind of slow, but they were very good story-wise. Sort of like Skyrim in the sense of the story. Very memorable.
Now,
What would your
go ahead.
No, you can go first. Go first.
Now, do you feel like they should have done Darth Maul better justice than the movie that they did?
Yeah, no, they really should have, because he was introduced as sort of the Phantom Menace, and then he died pretty much instantly. He's like the Snoke, essentially, where Snoke died instantly. And at least they ended up bringing him back in a ton of different forms and making him into a bigger character. But I feel like they could have done that the first time around if they just didn't kill him.
Yeah, because
So,
he was supposed to be the one of the strongest villain other than Darth Vader, but Darth Vader is literally Anakin Skywalker, who is supposed to be the one who destroys the Sith, but ends up joining them.
yeah. Fun fact about Anakin is that he was created um by Sidious and his master. He is literally just created from the Force, which is why he's so powerful.
Really,
So,
did not know
yeah,
that. I thought he
yeah.
was just born from
He,
Luke,
yeah.
or
Luke,
no,
Luke is his
Luke is his
son.
son. Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep getting them mixed up.
Yeah, no, he's not born from anyone. His mother literally was just mysteriously pregnant eventually and like gave birth to him. And that was because Sidious and Plagueis literally just made him. And that was like their experiment. And when Sidious found out that it worked is when he Plagueis. So that's the story of Anakin and why he's so powerful is because he's literally made from the Force.
So Sentient asked you a couple days ago about you wanting some chalky milk.
Each his own. And no, he can't pop a chalky milk for that because the Force is too strong for the chalky milk.
Yeah.
What plot is? Oh, okay.
Yes,
No, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Okay. What plot is from a movie got your reaction the most from Star Wars?
Again, from KOTOR. KOTOR, the game, has the biggest plot twist ever. Basically, they start you out thinking that a villain has destroyed your ship and you're all alone, and this Jedi is here to help you. By the end, you find out that you are a Sith Lord that was mocked by that Jedi, and you were actually decision to join with your old Sith apprentice or continue helping the Jedi. And so like a split moment in like where you thought you were good and you find out that you were actually the reason that the galaxy is like horrible. So
Now, speaking back to you saying that your family has a military background, how do you feel about their safety due to current worldwide things happening? And would you ever think of joining the military or being part of the community, like a firefighter, a paramedic, or anything of that sort?
I would probably join the Air Force if I was sort of forced into conflict, but I feel like it's not my place in life to be sort of a warrior in the same sense that they were, because it does definitely require a certain sort of drive to do that, and I feel like I would be sort of lacking in that department.
Well, technically, just so you know, they don't need to draft you. They need to draft you and stuff like that. But at the age of 18, you are legally supposed to join the military if need be in wartime.
Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah, it'll be interesting, and I feel like if I was drafted, I would definitely try to just get into the Air Force as much as possible because I know the most about jets. I don't know much about like maintenance. I'm not very good at like just constantly let's say I'm definitely not good on boats. I get motion sick, so I wouldn't be good for the Navy. Uh, I wouldn't probably make a very good Marine or in the Army just because they have a very strict system and it wouldn't have anything beneficial for me, unlike the Air Force where it's like at least there's jets that I can look forward to.
And speaking back, you
They're
also
definitely
told us
rare.
about. Oh, go ahead. You also told us about you playing airsoft. What is the craziest thing that happened to you on the field during airsoft?
This is actually a fun story. So we were playing a game of hostage, right? So we had a guy in a building, we had to hold him hostage. People had to go and siege it, right? Eventually, we swapped teams. So now they're holding a hostage. One of our guys, they literally just take a member of your team and they just take off all the gear and stuff, and he's just a hostage. He's just a normal civilian. And what they decided to do was they placed him in the doorway right next to our spawn, and they were all waiting there with just him in the doorway. We didn't know that though, because we couldn't see it from where we were. Our objective, because we knew that they'd be watching us from that doorway, we just didn't know that they'd place our guy there. So our objective was we only had pistols, so we all ran past the doorway, and our plan was to all of us just take one shot in the door. So all of us run past the door, one shot, or maybe even like 2 to 3. So it's like a team of 7 guys, 3 shots per person. We didn't know, but they placed the guy in the doorway, and he just got lit up. He had so many like little red dots from the BBs hitting him, and we didn't find out that we had lost until the ref came out and was like, "You guys shot the hostage," and we were like, "What?" We look in the doorway, the guy's sitting there and he's laughing his ass off, and he's covered in red dots everywhere around him, and we're just like, "Well, not our fault." It's so fun though.
So you play a lot of different games. What kind of games would you never want to touch, such as Fortnite or any other indie title game?
Like I said earlier, RTS games are definitely not my vibe. They're just really slow paced. I can't really keep my attention on them for too long. I hope I never have to play Fortnite again. Any games that involve like super slow or like dragged out gameplay aren't the best for me. So probably just avoid any sort of like building simulators or walking sims, anything like that.
Would you play League of Legends?
League of Legends sounds like a very boring game to me, but I feel like it could be fun to specific people. Just specifically to me, I downloaded the game, never touched it, and then I uninstalled it because the fact that I watched some gameplay on it and I was like, wow, this is not my type of game. I like FPS games. I like mechanically skilled games, so not like just a few buttons you press to do things. I like having an entire array of buttons you have to press at different times to do different things. Like that's why I like Rocket League. Super mechanical game, very fun. I'm not the best at Rocket League, but I definitely have improved over time. I used to be bronze when I first started, and then I went from bronze straight to plat 3. So that was a pretty big jump.
Would you ever play Roblox?
I did play Roblox. Yeah, I used to play it a lot. I used to have community nights where I would just go like Arsenal or whatever game that my chat decided they wanted me to play on Roblox, and I would just invite them to come play with me. And then I got dummy good at Arsenal, and I would pretty frequently win because I had cracked aim for no reason in that game.
Have you played Bad Business? It's like a new version of Arsenal.
I haven't played Roblox in a while.
We should try. Sentient. Go ahead and ask your question before we end off the podcast.
What was your major dream job when you were a child?
Dream job was always focused on entertaining. I really like the aspect of visual effects and sort of creating stories and such. I feel like that's really important. And I feel like I can always implement that into my streaming. So it's going to become a big part of my streaming. But when I was a kid, I definitely looked up at like movies and such. And I was like, wow, I want to create that. And I've sort of been like slowly over time trying to push myself to learn it. And fun fact, there's people that live literally right next to me, like an hour away. They are called Corridor Digital. And if you guys don't know who they are, they're a bunch of VFX artists. And I would always probably just want to go there if I ever wanted to have like a dream job, would be just to go work with them and go learn VFX, work on it, make short films, work on a movie eventually, and just sort of like perfect my skill in visual effects.
So Oddball, truth or dare?
We'll go with dare for this one.
Dare? Alright. I dare you to chug water.
Good thing I have water right here.
Doesn't even look like there's much in the cup.
Pulls it out of nowhere.
That's because it was up to here. I can't see the water line. Up to there. And I don't have any more water. And I had that sitting next to me, so I don't know how old that was, but it was there.
You got lucky. Alright, Justin, go ahead and ask your final question before we end off the podcast.
So, this is a two-parter. One, I don't know how old you are, but have you ever heard of the YouTuber, streamer, Scene Animation?
I have. I used to watch Teen Anners when I was growing up.
You sound just like him.
Oh God. Yeah, no, Teen Anners was a big inspiration of me getting into sort of unknown games. Like Gary's Mod was only popular because it had like a super sandbox aspect, and I watched him play a lot of Gary's Mod, and it got me into it. So
I watched him back when MW2 was out, and he was working for Machinima Respawn.
ooh, Machinima, that's an ancient thing. Wow, it's been dead for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been dead for him and Hutch and what was his name? He plays with Vanoss and Terrorizer and movie with Phasmophobia, Mr. Sark. That's what it was.
Oh, Sark, yeah.
Anyway,
Mm.
okay. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention because you sound damn near dead on like. So, with that being said, would you like to tell us your PC stats?
PC stats. I've been working on this for a few years. I don't really have a job, so I don't make money. All the money comes from streaming and such. The current donation goal is set to fix this PC because I've had it for so long to the point where my SSD is failing.
Oh,
Very good. So my PC stats, it has an i7 770K, which is overclockable. It's got an AIO that I got from the company who makes the case. I don't remember their name anymore. I have a 2060 Super that I bought recently, from Christmas.
GeoForce.
Yeah. GeForce RTX 2060 Super, very nice. I have 64.
Would you mind showing
what's
us your
the
PC?
RAM? I mean, this camera really doesn't move all too much, and it is definitely not a very appealing PC currently, and I'm definitely working on a new one. I have like all of the stats laid out for what I want and like what I'm trying to get. So I'll hopefully have a more appealing looking one and one that will actually be able to handle my streaming much better, because streaming requires a lot of multi-core rendering, and this PC is definitely not the best at that.
Yeah, especially with the processor that you got in there.
Mm-hmm. I had to switch the encoder that I use for streaming from the CPU to my GPU, just because my GPU is legitimately more powerful than my CPU.
Yeah, which is understandable. What about your RAM? What type of RAM do you have?
I have Corsair Vengeance RAM, and it was pretty cheap at the time, and now it's a lot more expensive, but it was pretty cheap at the time. It's pretty solid. It's honestly like my favorite looking RAM. It's got a pretty good clock speed, 32K. My motherboard is super outdated. It is literally, it looks like something that you'd get back from a PC, like an original Mac back in like the early 2000s. So
Don't even get me started on those.
yeah, no, that's the PC that I started on. A really ancient Mac, and it was very boxy. It came with the screen attached to it. It was awful.
My first computer was a Windows 98. So,
I went from that Mac to a Linux-based to come by, and then I got back into using a Mac Mini because I got gifted one. It was like it was much more recent at the time. And then I went from there to making my own PC with money that I'd gained over like many birthdays and many Christmases of selling stuff.
all right. So this is going to go ahead and be the segment where we ask you to give us a
Speech.
speech.
So in terms of just how I guess life goes, things always drain me out personally. I know everyone's gonna get drained. You know, school is obviously very rough right now. I know that from experience. Distance learning is probably the most rough thing for like school. It makes a lot of unnecessary stress for students. So I feel like a lot of students at this point in time just kind of need sort of support, and I feel like as long as you are focused and you know what you want to do, and you sort of have like a schedule for things. Schedules have been like the most important thing in my life. It has definitely improved my life a bunch. I always, every day I stream, I'm always asking people how their day's going. I sort of relate to them on a personal level. I feel like it's important to always evaluate yourself. You look at yourself from a standpoint, and you sort of just collect all your thoughts, all your emotions, or whatever. And you should always try to tell someone or just have a way to sort of release those emotions and just have someone always there to like reassure you. My friends have been the biggest part of me continuing to stream over the like year that I have been streaming, because I've been very on and off with it, and I feel like having people to support you, especially your family and friends, have been like the biggest supporter to me. People in my chat come by every day, and they just like will always mention that I've always like I can make their day brighter just by like streaming and like talking to them and such. So there's always gonna be light at the end of the tunnel, like I said earlier, and you can always achieve greatness. There's always a greatness for everybody. You just need to find your own. And no matter where, I guess you end up, as long as you have support, it's gonna be much better of a life.
What long shot have you taken that really paid off?
Probably the longest shot that I've taken that's actually like paid back is I recently got into helping a server up and running on Minecraft and Gary's mod, which is like pretty easy. I help develop and code and just like run all the servers and such, just because I have free time, might as well help. And I met some really nice people through that server, and they've become very close friends. They've been able to help me like emotionally, mentally. So, you know, you find great people in the strangest places, and I feel like they've definitely been a very big help for me over these past few months in COVID.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us on the What the Hell Are We Doing podcast, Oddball. That was an amazing speech and very awesome questions we had for you. Tell the viewers once again where they can find you and what your channel's about.
You can always find me on Twitch and YouTube, both by the name of Oddball. The O is a 0 because, I don't know, I'm weird. And then I always do a flurry of content. I'm usually doing just chatting. I like to have a lot of chat interaction. I focus on a lot of different games. We do currently Phasmophobia, War Thunder, Rainbow Six, just chatting. We tried some GeoGuessr. That was interesting. Apparently chat is just really good at knowing where places are. You guys are cheating, and you know, it's always fun. I just like hanging out with my chat. They're really great people, and it's very interesting, you know. And I feel like the dynamic that we have so far between me and my chat is pretty good.
Cool. Anyone in the stream wants to joke, go check them out. All the links are in the description below. Oddball on Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. Thanks for joining us, Oddball. Peace.
See you later.